Bible study with Marlene. All right, y'all. So we are back in the book of Esther. If you haven't watched the first two videos, make sure you go and watch that. But we are currently on chapter 8, which the title says Esther saves the Jews. So remember, the last time we talked, Haman got put up on the pedestal, got laid to sleep because the situation that happened with Mordecai. He actually made that for Mordecai, but Haman got put up on there. So we're at the part where Esther saves the Jews. So let's read it together. Open your Bibles, chapter 8 from Esther. All right. On that day, King gave Queen Esther the house of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told how he was related to her. Ooh, so Mordecai has finally told the king that they're related. So the king took off his signet ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. And Esther appointed Mordecai over the house of Haman. So Mordecai came in and took over. Like, that's so crazy. That is so crazy. Now Esther spoke again to the king, fell down at his feet, and implored him with tears to counteract the evil of Haman the Agagites. Y'all, the names, y'all know how this goes. And the scheme which he had devised against the Jews. The king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king and said, "If it pleases the king, and I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seems right to the king, and I am pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to revoke the letters devised by Haman, and the son of Hammedatha, the Agite, which he wrote to annihilate the Jews who are all in the king's provinces." So basically Esther is bowing down to the king, telling him that if he could denounce all the letters that were written out against the Jews. Okay, let me see, where am I at? For how can I endure to see the evil that will come to my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my countrymen? Then King A said to Queen Esther and Mordecai the Jew, "Indeed, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and they have hanged him on the gallows because he tried to lay his hand on the Jews. You yourself write a decree concerning the Jews, and as you please in the king's name, and seal it with the king's signet ring. For whatever is written in the king's name sealed with the signet ring, no one can revoke." So he's saying, go ahead, take the ring, write it down. You got my word. No one will be able to revoke this. So the king's scribes were called at the time in the third month, which is the month of Sivan, on the 23rd day, and it was written. Oh, that's so crazy that today is the 23rd of January, and you see how that works? On the 23rd day, and it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded to the Jews, the satraps, the governors, and the princess of the provinces from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces in all, to every province in its own script, to every people in their own language, and to the Jews in their own script and language. He wrote in the name of king, sealed it with king's signet ring, and sent letters by couriers on horsebacks, riding all royal horses bred from swift steeds. So the letter is going out. The Jews, you are protected at this time. Everything will be okay. By these letters, the king permitted the Jews who were in every city to gather and protect the lives, to destroy, kill, and annihilate all the forces of anyone or province that would assault them, both little children and women, and to plunder their possessions on day one in all the provinces of King A. On the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. A copy of the document was to be issued as a decree in every province and published for all people, so that the Jews would be ready on that day to avenge themselves to their enemies. The couriers who rode on the royal horses went out, hasted and pressed on the king's command, and the decree was issued in Sishin, the citadel? Yeah, I know, okay. So Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel. Okay, Mordecai, clock it. He got his royal apparel, blue and white, with a crown of gold and a garment of fine linen and gladness. Oh, wow. Fine linen purple. In the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness, joy and honor in every province and city. Wherever the king the decree came, and the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a holiday. Then many of the people of the land became Jews because fear of the Jews fell upon them. What? So like many people in the area became Jews because they feared the Jews? Like what? I guess because they were getting so much recognition. They're like, oh, I want to become like a Jew. I want to be a Jew now. Okay. So now it says we're on chapter 9. The Jews destroy their tormentors. Ooh, the Jews is getting bad. The Jews is getting bad. So now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day, the time came for the king's command and his decree to be executed. On the day that the enemies of the Jews had hoped to overpower them, the opposite occurred, and the Jews themselves overpowered those who hated them. So the people that Haman sent out to kill the Jews are coming back for them now. That's crazy. The Jews gathered together in their cities throughout all the provinces of King to lay hands on those who sought their harm. And no one could withstand them because fear of them fell upon all people and all the officials of the provinces, the satraps, the governors, and all those doing the king's work helped the Jews because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's palace, and his fame spread throughout all the provinces. For this man, Mordecai became increasingly prominent. So Mordecai is becoming that guy, okay? He's moving his way up the pedestal. People are fearing him. Like, this is crazy. Thus, the Jews defeated all their enemies with the stroke of a sword, with slaughter and destruction, and did what they pleased with those who hated them. Wow, that's crazy. In the Shushan of the citadel, the Jews destroyed 500 men. Dang! Oh, y'all, we about to go past all these names. Bear with me. I'm going to try my best. But it says also Parshandatha, Dolphin, nope, not even gonna try to say that one. Paratha, Adalia, Aradatha, Parmashta, Arathi, Erdai, Vajezda. So these are the sons of Haman. All the people I just named or tried to at least name, these are the sons of Haman. The 10 sons of Haman, the son of whoever Haman made the sons with, the enemy of the Jews, they killed, but they did not lay a hand on the plunder. What's a plunder? On that day, the number of those who were killed in Shushan was brought to the king, and the king said to Queen Esther, the Jews have killed and destroyed 500 men and 10 sons of Haman. Oh, dang. What have they done in the rest of the king's promises? Now what is your petition? It shall be granted to you. Or was it your further request? It shall be done. So now he's asking Esther, like, is there anything else, baby girl? He's like, is there anything else that I can do for you? We got them. They killed 500 men and they killed their sons. What can I do for you next? So then Queen Esther said, if it pleases the king, let it be granted to the Jews who are in Shushan to do again tomorrow according to today's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged on a gallows. Dang! Did they not already kill the sons? Now you want to hang them too? Bruh, she's doing a lot, but like, she got the power to do it. So the king commanded this to be done, and the decree was issued in Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. You mean to tell me they killed them already, and now we hanging them. Like, y'all doing a lot. They doing a lot for me. They're doing a lot, but Queen's orders, right? Esther's orders, right? Oh my gosh, we're almost done. I absolutely love this story, y'all, but we're almost done. We're on the last page. We're on the last page. And the Jews who were in Shushan gathered together again on the 14th day of month of Adar and killed 300 men at Shushan, but they did not lay a hand on the plunder. What's a plunder? What's a plunder? So they killed 300 more people? Dang. The remainder of the Jews in the king's provinces gathered together and protected their lives and had the rest of their enemies and killed 75,000? No way. 75,000 of their enemies, but they did not lay a hand on the plunder. This was on the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th of the month they rested and made a day for feasting and gladness. So now they're celebrating. They're having this big celebration on the stuff that has happened so far. And now we are on the Feast of Purim? We're going to call it this Feast of Purim. Hopefully that's right. But the Jews who were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day, as well as on the 14th and on the 15th of the month. They rested and made a day for feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the village who dwelt in the unwalled town celebrated the 14th day on the month of Adar with gladness and feasting as a holiday for sending presents to one another. So they're celebrating, they giving each other gifts, they feasting, resting, all this good stuff. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters to all the Jews near them and far, who were all in the provinces of the king, to establish among them that they should celebrate yearly the 14th and 15th days of the month of Adar, as the days on which the Jews had rest from their enemies, as the month which had turned from sorrow to joy for them, and for the mourning to the holiday, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, of sending presents to one another and gifts to the poor. So Mordecai said, we're going to make this we're going to make this a big thing here. Y'all going to have a feast to celebrate the upcoming of the Jews. Y'all going to send each other's gifts and gifts to the poor. Mind you, this is a very good thing. I like that they're celebrating and giving gifts to the poor, but like a whole holiday for killing 75,000 people? Like, whoa, but their orders, right? Their orders. So the Jews accepted the custom which they had begun, and Mordecai had written to them because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of all the Jews, had plotted against the Jews to annihilate them and cast Pur to consume them and destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letter that this wicked plot which Haman had devised against the Jews should return on his own head, and that he and his son should be hanged on the gallows. So they called these days Purim, after the name Pur. Therefore, because of all the words of this letter, when they had seen concerning this matter and what had happened to them, the Jews established and imposed it upon themselves and their descendants and all who would join them, that without fail they should celebrate these 2 days every year, according to the written instructions, according to the prescribed time, that these days should be remembered and kept through every generation, every family, every province, every city, and these days of Purim should not fail to be observed among the Jews. So this is becoming a holiday for the Jews. Like, y'all need to be celebrating this. Every single Jew need to be celebrating this time. So, where am I? I just lost my spot. Oh, these days should be remembered. Okay. And that the memory of them should not perish among their descendants. So it should be passed on through every generation. Then Queen Esther, the daughter of Abihail, with Mordecai the Jew wrote with full authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. And Mordecai sent letters to all the Jews, to the 127 provinces of the kingdom, with words of peace and truth to confirm these days of Purim at their appointed time, as Mordecai the Jew and Queen Esther had prescribed for them, and as they had decreed for themselves and their descendants concerning matters of fasting and lamenting. So the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book. So it's written in a book. This is official. Last but not least, this little last section that we had, chapter 10. And the king imposed tribes on the land and on the islands of the sea. Now all the acts of his power and his might, and the account of greatness of Mordecai, to which the king had advanced him, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of King in Media and Persia? For Mordecai the Jew was second to King A. So he basically took Haman's spot. He did take Haman's spot. He did. Dang. So Mordecai was second to king and was great among the Jews, well received by the multitude of his brethren, seeking good of his people and seeking peace to all his countrymen. The end. That was the end of Esther. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this. Esther, I did not know this was like the story of Esther. Like, I did not expect it to be like this, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I was able to break it down and really understand what was going on in the story. Because like I told y'all in the first video, I started reading this one night. It was going from one ear and out the other, and I closed the book. Like, I closed the book, but I'm glad I came back to it. This was such a great story. I might have to write like a summary of this book just so I can have it for the future, you know. But I thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the book of Esther. We broke this down into 3 different sections, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what we read next. Bible study with Marlene, signing out.